If someone asks you, is there proof that the Quran remains unchanged, how would you reply? Please leave a comment about your answer. We will tell you about 8 different pieces of evidence. How do we know that the Quran wasn't changed over time? How can we know this? An atheist would not ask this question. I mean, he wouldn't think to ask it, because someone who thinks that a building does not exist would not ask for information about what's inside that building, would they? Of course not. Would someone then who does not accept the existence of a creator enter into a debate about a book sent by the creator? Of course, he wouldn't. So even if he does, we need to explain certain basic principles first. So the first thing to talk about is the existence of a creator. If the existence of a creator is accepted, it may then make sense to ask questions about the book he sent. So the addressee in this video is not the atheist group. We first direct them to our videos about atheism. A case without evidence is not even considered. Consequently, is there any evidence that the Quran has been changed? Of course not. Then you might ask why people become fixated on this question. The reason for this is a delusion from the devil. Typically, this is not an argument used by people who attack Islam, because everyone, Muslim and non-Muslim, agrees that the Quran has not been changed. This idea is just a delusion usually given to Muslims by the devil. For example, what if it's like this or that? The critical point here is that the delusional person confuses the physical potential and the intellectual potential, so they become mixed up. In other words, if something is potentially possible, he thinks that it is intellectually and scientifically possible. For example, if I say that the sun will not set today, it will not cause you to panic, and you wouldn't believe this claim because there's no evidence and no basis for it. Questions such as, has the Quran been changed? Or what if it has been changed are nothing more than just words. So without argument, these are baseless sayings. The Quran is both memorized and verbally repeated every day in prayers. It is also a book that is constantly read with the intention of prayer. Of course, this has been the case since the first period of Islam. So what does this show us? It shows us that the Quran has survived to the present day completely intact, and as verses of the Quran descended, 42 revelation scribes wrote them on materials such as cloth, pieces of leather, stones, bricks, and shoulder blades. It is also a book that thousands of Hafiz have memorized throughout the centuries. The companions of our Prophet not only memorized and wrote the Quran, they have also conveyed the Quran to us by applying it to their lives. Also, since there are 10 rewards for each letter of the Quran, and even thousands on some special nights, the Quran would be recited over and over again to take advantage of this opportunity, facilitating the preservation of the verses. Companions who devoted their lives to the Quran and to observing the Sunnah of our Prophet, peace be upon him, would have noticed even the slightest change in the Quran. They would have given their lives to protect it, and they would have not been silent. Even the hadiths were carried to the present day with the ultimate care, and authentic hadiths were preserved with special effort. This shows that every letter of the Quran would most definitely have been protected and brought to the current day in the original form by those who had unconditional love for it. What is the most read book in the world? The Holy Quran. And there are countless copies of the Quran all over the world. And when we look at these copies, we can see that they are all the same. If you go to a mosque in Indonesia or in the Netherlands, when you open up the Quran, you will see that they are the same. In other words, this is not a controversial debate that divided the Ummah. Let's assume the impossible. If there were a change in the Quran, there would be thousands of different versions like branches on a tree. The Quran has been preserved as promised by the owner of the Quran. Indeed, it is we who sent down the message, that is, the Quran, and indeed we will be its guardians. Even if someone attempted such a change, Muslims would most definitely have raised the alarm and we would have heard about this event. Now, I'm going to touch on a very subtle meaning. Even the most sinful of Muslims do not allow anyone to touch the Quran without ablution. So how can one let even a single letter of it be changed? How can one be carefree about it? Especially the self-sacrificing Islamic elders who existed throughout the centuries. Would they have remained silent about this? There are many different copies of the Bible due to multiple translations, and this is a matter known to Christians themselves. By being distorted repeatedly, it has been turned into a religion that is partially pleasing to souls, much like the matter of confession. However, when we look at the Quran, this is not the case at all. In the Quran, there is intense worship that the soul finds difficult, such as daily prayer, thirst and hunger with fasting, and giving zakah. In other words, if the Quran was attacked and changed, then the worship that is heavy on the soul would have been removed first. Within recent research, early copies of the Quran have been examined, and we can see that it is the same as the Quran today. Also, with a carbon-14 test, we can see that the Quran has not been changed. Copies sent to different provincial centers by Uthman were were lost with each passing of the centuries. But one of those copies can be seen today in Istanbul Topkapi Museum. In addition, a Quran was recently found at the University of Birmingham in England, and by using the carbon-14 test, it is said that the Quran is at least 1,370 years old. These pages have now been digitized for all to see. These copies are in harmony with today's Quran, letter for letter. Now I will present a different and more detailed point. There's an incredible harmony in the number of repetitive words in the Quran. For example, Yom, the word day occurs 365 times. The word month occurs 12 times. The word punishment is repeated 117 times. The word forgiveness is used 234 times, exactly twice that of punishment. The words woman and man are used 23 times each. The words world and the hereafter occur 115 times each. The words Satan and angel occur 88 times each. Heaven and hell were repeated 77 times each. We can count many more such examples. With repetition and the numbers as such, the fact that even the words are in incredibly delicate balance actually shows us that if there was even the slightest change in words, this balance would be disturbed. This balance and harmony gives strength to our proof that the Quran has not changed over time. When we look at all these pieces of evidence, we can see that the Quran has not been changed and never will be changed. Many of those who ask the question, has the Quran changed, do so to cause trouble. But who knows, maybe they have not read the Quran and did not even try to understand it by reading the commentary.